20 years, bro. This is, I mean, is this 20 years for you? Or would you officially, what do you officially count the start of your career at?
I always tell people, I think when you get like your first professional check, you just start considering yourself a professional, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get a phone call randomly from one of the biggest executives in the game, Big John Platt. It's like, you guys got a publishing deal? It's like, no, I'm flying into Dallas to meet you guys. I went off the publishing deal. I got $450,000 for you if you want to sign this publishing deal. So I picked up a Billboard magazine. I was like, oh, we're number one. Not knowing how big.
Take advantage of this shit.
Exactly. Like, we got a second wind at like the game.
Subscribe to the Donnie Houston Podcast, man.
Hey, what up? This is Play-N-Skillz of the Play-N-Skillz. So right now, you're watching Donnie Houston. Tune in.
Donnie Houston.
Yeah, man, it's going down. It's Donnie Houston Podcast. I am Donnie Houston. Check it out, man. We got a special guest, man, a real special guest. I'm extremely honored today. Actually, we have two guests. I have a co-host today. My boy Sama'an is in here, man. Extremely exceptional, just journalist. You know what I mean? He's done his thing for Complex and just a gang of things. I'll let him talk about it a little bit more when we get started. But the special guest that we have beyond that has been producing hit records for over 20 years, man. I'm talking about all the way from Lil Flip to Chamillionaire. I'm talking about, Lil Wayne. I'm talking about David Guetta and Flo Rida, and I mean, just crazy names, man. I mean, he's been doing his thing, man. Well, they've been doing that thing, but I have one half of the production duo, Play-N-Skillz. Play, what's going down, man?
Hey, man. Thank you for having me, man. I'm just here to tell my story, man, and share it with the cool stuff, man. I'm a fan of the cast, you know what I'm saying? So I'm happy to be here. Houston's always been a home to me, so
for sure.
I'm ready to dig into it.
Yeah, for sure, man. 20 years, bro. This is, I mean, is this 20 years for you? Or would you officially, what do you officially count the start of your career at?
I always tell people, I think when you get like your first professional check, you just start considering yourself a professional, you know what I'm saying? Like, we started DJing and becoming popular in Dallas, like 98, 99 with house parties, nightclubs, DJing. But our first big break officially came with Lil Flip in 2003. You Gotta Feel Me. So that's,
So
21 years.
Yeah.
So I would say, about, 2020. Let's say we're in that 20-year gang.
For sure.
Just a blessing.
For sure. Well, man, what's new with you, man? What you got going on right now?
Man, a lot, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're at a space now where it's about pivoting, and doing really mature businesses and collaborations and attaching ourselves to great brands and helping and telling the truth about the music business, which I was afraid to talk about so much early on in my career because, the blackball or, somebody might not want to work with you. So, now I'm open to having conversations and telling some of the dark lies that lie in the music business that people are afraid of. I'm in such a great place. Me and my brother, I'm speaking for my brother as well, to be able to tell these stories, to motivate people out there, whether it's somebody up and coming or somebody that's already been in the game and really doesn't understand it. So we're talking about, the publishing, the masters, the ownership, the deals, because we've lived through, from vinyl to CD to, iTunes singles to now streaming. So I've had the opportunity to do all of that, and truly am a story from like the bottom to the top. Like, we don't have like a family figure that is a musician that taught me how to DJ. Like, I literally just bought a DJ in a box.
Wait. Now you talking my language.
Okay.
Now you talking my language.
Yeah.
If you saying DJ in the box, because I'm gonna tell you what DJ in the box means to me.
Okay.
My first set of turntables I got 2000, the year 2000.
Okay.
15 years old. I go to Mars Music. It ain't even open no more.
I know Mars.
Newmark had the thing called DJ in the box with the two turntables, the mixing. Is that what you're speaking about?
That's exactly
my man.
Yeah.
Belt drive turntable.
Belt drive. Don't even try.
The purple joint.
Yeah. If you try to turn the record, too far back, that needle's gonna fly across. You know what I'm saying? So that was
damn. You had DJ in the box.
Yeah, bro. That was me and my brother saved up and we bought that and we literally like we shared a bedroom and we turned our bedroom into, well, I guess what would be a studio now, like just records and crates and vinyl and like months after months of learning how to beat match and make sure the kick and the snare are, matching the whole nine, just learning how to mix by ear. I mean, mind you, there was no waves, no freaking computer, no sync. And I think that's what really trained our ears to become the producers that we are now. It's like that was our, like school of doing that. So again, I say that humbly, man. I love to tell that story because I know I'm not the only guy that did that.
Where were you at, like, age-wise, like when you got to DJ the box?
I think 17. So this is 97, 98.
Like into high school, basically.
Yeah. In high school, I just saw this guy, DJ Scribble, on TV. He used to do a show called The Grind. It was an Italian guy. For me, he looked like he was a Latin guy. So I finally saw somebody that kind of favored my skin tone, dark hair, had these tribal tattoos, and he's like DJing in front of all. And I was like, dude, like whatever he's doing is what I want to do. Went and bought turntables and, started teaching myself how to DJ, and that led into production, and here we are.
Nice. So when you were DJing, what were you playing back then? Was it hip hop? What were you playing?
No. I started playing hard house music. There was a company called Underground Construction, and it was like 140 BPM, but it was like really hard house. I used to go to a lot of raves, just like all kinds of different music, man. But for DJing, I liked the energy of the house music. Hip hop was different because back then you went from when you played a song, you played it, and then you went out of it into instrumental. They didn't even have the DJ breaks that you could have, the 8-bar intro that you could just mix into it, right? So it was a lot harder to play, and you had to be really witty at dropping records, really strong on the mic. And, I don't know, I just really liked DJing house and jungle and drum and bass. It was like completely different from anything where I grew up from because it was all hip hop and street music. But what I liked inside was, DJing house music. So we started there and then slowly transitioned into playing open format, which we would go in and out of house and dance music into hip hop, reggae, and learn how to kind of mix it all up.
And that's when the music was good, like we were saying, like them BPMs, man, like.
Bro, it was energy. Yeah. You could dance, even if, we were talking, off camera earlier about BPMs, like, sucks, man. Now it's like just 60 to 65 BPM. I'm like, bro.
As a DJ, I'm getting no energy from them records, bro.
I mean, people just stand on couches and they rap to each other. It's a karaoke fucking, hangout. It's like it's horrible, and it's a mind fuck for the DJ, bro, because you're sitting up there and you think you're not going in. You might be, and they might like it, but like that's a different energy than 100 BPM, 95 BPM, where it's just driving. And so it's a strange time, I think right now for hip hop DJs, because there's not enough music that's at the right tempo to make people dance and move. So I'm gonna say I caught the golden era of that, man. 99, back that ass up, like there. That was one of the first records I got to play in real time. That still works, by the way, now. But that energy is like DJ Jubilee and like all that stuff that was like right in there, 100 BPM, next episode, and the Chronic, and like all that was like in there. So, I'm always gonna love hip hop. It's just a different time.
Were y'all like making a name for yourselves as DJs before y'all got into production?
Yeah, absolutely. So that was kind of our thing. We was throwing house parties, and then we started renting ballrooms. Me, my brother, and just a group of friends in high school, and we started throwing parties, pass out flyers, like the old street marketing way of doing things. And, $3 for the guys, $1 for the girls, just to get people in the rooms, or we rent a ballroom for $600, try to make the money back, and then buy some more equipment. And big club by the name of 2551. It's a legendary club in Dallas. They happened to come to one of our parties, the managers, and were like, yo, like, how did you get so many people in this room? You guys are young in high school, and like, come play the nightclub. So we started opening up for, one of the big DJs there. And I mean, we were still in high school. I was a junior, my brother was a sophomore, and we were playing Thursday nights, Friday nights, Saturday nights, Sunday nights, and nightclubs, and that kind of led into the production.
So was it a producer that you heard that said, okay, I think I want to make beats now? Or was it just a thing of like, well, what's next?
You know what, man? I was intrigued on like how records started because, there was no, let's say a record started with two bar intro, which was strange. So I would study why the record started like that. And I noticed that a lot of hit records had patterns with, how records started or, the instruments, and just started to dig in. But really, man, my brother is really the key to this, man, because he has this just God-given talent of playing keys. So we bought a bullshit Casio keyboard, and he's hitting chords and playing shit, and I'm able to make drums, but I cannot play.
I was gonna ask y'all what was the split, like who was the melody, who was the drums, or did y'all do both?
He's the musical genius of the group, man, hands down. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we work together really well because I think the art of production is being able to finish a record, right? It's like sometimes the beat maker will get so crazy, and this happens with my brother. Not as much now because he's so seasoned, but at the beginning, man, he might have.
He was throwing everything in there.
40 fucking instruments and the goddamn shit, and layers and this. I'm like, bro, like,
you gotta pull back.
Yeah, we pull back, but he was just, it was crazy, bro, how great he was at doing that. So it was like I had my own musician in my band, this 2-man band between me and my brother, right? And man, the beats was like what got us in the door, man. That's kind of like we were going around like promoting ourselves as like, big name producers, like putting tags on the beginning of beats when people weren't doing that, making the rappers say our names. If you go back and listen to any of the stuff we produced from like the early 2000s all the way to 08, 09, like we were one of the first guys that put a tag on records. The Play-N-Skillz or Chamillionaire putting our name in the actual verse. And because we were in the studio producing, so while we're making the record, we're like, you know what I'm saying? Like in there, like, I'm gonna make sure you got to say my name. That way people hear.
And nobody was giving y'all pushback with that.
Yeah, some people would, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes, but I think if you're a real producer and you're in there making the record with them, and it's tough now because you just send a fucking email out, right? Back then, I'm in the studio with Flip. Like, You Gotta Feel Me, we were put for a whole year. We had a friendship. We worked together. I think when he got done with the record, he wanted to say, Play-N-Skillz on the beat. You know what I'm saying? Like, he felt like it was a connection there. You know what I'm saying? And that really helped us brand us because, like, people shouting us out on records. You know what I'm saying? Then it became a thing. And honestly, there was a time where I charged for us to say our name on a beat. That was an extra $5,000, bro. Oh, you want Play-N-Skillz tag?
Is this after y'all do the Wayne records?
Yeah. We had a bunch of street guys come to us and want us to produce records. I'm like, all right, cool, we could produce it, but you want my voice to be on the record and you want the tag? That's like I'm like making it official at doing that. So, it became a thing, man, and we actually even wrote it into our production agreement, right? That so when we did records with the bigger artists, like our tag had to be in the record. Right. Again, just a marketing tool. And if you go back and listen to all the hit records, like there's
you knew the Play-N-Skillz records when y'all's records.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, and just I don't even know how all this even came together, man, because it was like it just happened, like literally like that story that you write the perfect script. Like I'm living in it, man. You know what I'm saying? By the grace of God, man, because I can't tell you like where was the moment that we thought or this. We just started and just kept at the same pace, man.
Well, I mean, clearly the Lil Flip, You Gotta Feel Me era is like the bigger like industry break, but like what's going on in Dallas with y'all like prior to that? You know what I mean?
So again, I can freely talk, thank God. We had this number where we had a friend of ours who was a street promo guy. So they used to have street promo guys that the record labels would send the vinyl to, and they would distribute that to the nightclubs. They go nightclub and they go, here's vinyl for, I don't know, Nocturnal and so-and-so, new record. And we made friends with him because I got tired of paying for records. I couldn't afford it. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, what was that? LP, $12.99, single $6.99. And this is one record. In hip hop, you got to have two because you got to go to your instrumental. This is one song. You know what I'm saying? So you get to 10 songs, you $100 in just for 10 songs. So it was just cost money. And anyhow, we made friends with the record promoter. He started giving us free records, you know, if we would play the records at our nightclubs. Then he became in charge of when the artists would come in town, he would run them to all the radio stations. So when, for example, Fabulous is a person that when he first started FABO, the whole nine, he came from New York, came to Dallas to do a radio run. We picked him up, and Fab was in the car, and they were going radio to radio, and I was in the car playing my beats. You know what I'm saying? So as we're going doing these radio promo runs, I'm in there playing my beat, and bro, no bullshit, almost every artist would be like, yo, what's that? I'm like, oh, that's me and my brother, man. We make beats. Here's a beat CD. Here's a beat CD. Here's a beat CD. But as far as Dallas, man, there was, like, the DSR thing hadn't even happened. Like, we were so behind.
Who was the people that had? Because I remember like '99. Shake them haters off. Shake them haters. That was
Black,
in Dallas, right?
Quint Black,
Yeah.
Mr. Pookie, Mr. Lucci. But it was a quiet era. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like Dallas hip hop fans were infatuated with Houston rap, right? All the screw and chop. Like, that was what Dallas was listening to. We hadn't got a sound, and there was nobody that had really broke out of there. You know, I mean, I think the closest thing was, God, I forget his name. I should know his name. Guy who wrote a bunch of stuff for Dre.
DLC.
So, I'm sorry, DLC. Yeah, he's a friend of mine. DLC was like, thought of Dallas. But then after that, it was like hip hop was like, there was no real
There was no
rapper.
identity out there.
No, there was none, no identity, because we followed Houston rap, right? Again, for me and my brother, it was different because I was inspired by so much different music. So I was like, I didn't care that it had to be that sound. I was prepared to produce boom bap for a New York artist, you know what I'm saying? Like bass music for the Florida artist, you know what I'm saying? Being a DJ, because I played all this music. So I wanted to produce what I played. You know what I'm saying? So as far as Dallas, I mean, we just kept at like playing at the nightclubs and doing our own events and being everywhere and running into artists. The beat CD hustle was real, man. Like, bro, imagine that. You burn a CD, you put 20 tracks on this shit, you got your cell phone number, and like, that's your Hail Mary of like somebody calling you back going, yeah, I like this beat. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Were there any close calls before y'all got to the Lil Flip thing? Like, man, I think we getting ready to do it, and it didn't fall through.
I think we started feeling it because, like I said, Fab ended up taking a beat that he was going to use on his first album, didn't make it. But then P.D. Pablo came in town when he had North Carolina and all that, and he recorded a bunch of songs. And then I became really good friends with Lil Jon, who was starting to pop his thing off, Lil Jon and the East Side Boys. And I think the fact that we were being accepted and people were going, this is good, was enough for me to, you know, say, okay, we're on the right path, you know what I'm saying, into that. But there wasn't really any real close call. Flip was like our biggest break, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm forever thankful for everything Flip did for us, man, because he shouted us out on everything. He took me on tour. I was his tour DJ. I was his producer, you know what I'm saying? Like, we did, Clover G Records was out of Dallas at first, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't even, that's where we recorded. We did Clover G there, and Flip was already like this.
So how do you end up, how y'all connected with Flip though?
Flip had a show in Dallas at this club called Club Life. And I saw the flyer and I was trying to get to Flip, you know what I'm saying? Like, and we went to the club, and this is a true story. Flip will tell you. He was in the VIP, and we had some friends who had some money, who did their thing, right? So I didn't have no money, but I was like, we need to go to the club and we need to stunt. Like, we need to get the VIP table wherever. So they bought a bunch of Cristal bottles, and Flip was kind of like, who are these Spanish guys? Because my homies had like these fur coats on. It just looked like dope dealers. You know what I'm saying? That's it, ain't nothing else. These motherfuckers look like they got money. And somehow we got to Flip and asked him if he would do a verse for us. And, you know, back then, that was like the rapper's hustle. You know what I'm saying? Like, doing verses for up-and-coming guys. Offered Flip 10 grand to do a verse, you know what I'm saying, for us, which we weren't even putting out music. We just wanted him to come to the studio and hear the beats. And I didn't have the 10 grand. You know what I'm saying? So, anyhow.
This is important.
Very important. So he ends up coming to the studio the next morning, you know what I'm saying? Like, Hump, who he was working with, that was Sucker Free at the time, got Flip to come and do it. Flip shows up, and we had a really nice studio, and, you know, I start playing the beats, and he was like, all right, well, where's the money? I was like, well, I don't got 10 grand. I got 2,500. It's like, well, I'll do a hook for 2,500. And in my eyes, like, that's even better because I felt like the hook is the best part. So we gave him the 2,500 and then we exchanged for 2,500 and 2 beats. So he took the 2 beats and 2,500, laid a hook, left. About a week later, back then it was the Nextel chirps. He chirps, yo, Play, you and Dallas, I need a studio recorder. I said, you can come to my studio. He said, how much is it? I said, don't worry about it. Just come. And from that day forward, like he stayed a whole year and we did You Gotta Feel Me. And that's kind of how I mean, I didn't know Flip from anywhere. He didn't know me. You know, I just, free studio time. I'm the engineer. I'm the producer. Like, come here. Oh, you want weed? We'll find the weed. Oh, you want to party? We'll party. Oh, you want to, like, I was trying to get on, bro. And I needed a rapper with credibility to rap on my shit. You know what I'm saying? So I can do all the other things that I wanted to do. And him being from Texas, and we got along, we became really good friends, and you know, that was part of our journey, man.
Did y'all have any learning curves, like with the business and all that, with that being y'all first run and that being such a successful
Absolutely.
album?
The biggest learning curves, man. Like, I didn't know what the hell a publishing deal was. So here I am, I think we did 17 out of 19 tracks on You Gotta Feel Me, which was worth whatever it was worth at the time. But I didn't know that what publishing was. I didn't really understand how to get paid in the music business. I thought it was like, all right, they just pay you for the beat. That's it. Didn't understand I was supposed to get my writer share, my publishing, maybe royalty points as a producer. None of that. And I get a phone call randomly from one of the biggest executives in the game, Big John Platt, who ran EMI Publishing. He was like, you guys got a publishing deal? I was like, no, I'm flying into Dallas to meet you guys. I want to offer you a publishing deal. I was like, all right. Comes in. He's like, I got $450,000 for you if you want to sign this publishing deal. Now, mind you, I had just walked to the studio. I got my first kid on the way. I'm broke as fuck. Flip's album's not out yet, and I don't know what's going to happen. What? Where do I sign, bro? And I signed the worst publishing deal.
That's what I'm saying. What did they want for that, though?
They wanted 40 songs, right?
And the thing with that is, it ain't just 40 songs. You don't submit. They have to approve these 40.
It's 40 songs on a major album. Back then, it had to come out on the major album, not 40 singles. 40 songs that came out on a major album. Now, 40 songs meaning 40 100% songs. As a producer, I might only get 50%. So it's really closer to 80. And that's saying that I'm getting 50% on every record. I might have got 25, 30. So, bro, I was stuck in a deal that I had no idea what I was doing. But it changed my life. You know what I'm saying? It was like, it's not a bad deal because I got out the hood, was able to invest, was able to move, took my mom out from where she was at. It just changed my life, man. I'm 23 years old, brother. You know what I'm saying? 21. You know what I'm saying? Like, that changed me and my business partners at the time, our whole thing. And that started everything. So, you know, I say that to say, like, I had to do the deal to understand that it was a bad deal.
How long did it take you to get out of it? Or to complete it?
Fortunately for us, man, I think it took us like 3 years, which is like amazing. Yeah, I think that's 80 songs, probably closer to 100 songs that we placed.
Incredible.
You know what I'm saying? In 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, we was on go, you know, just anything and everything. And then when I understood that I was in a fucked up deal, I was like, I started waiving my producer fee with people because I needed to get out of this deal to get to the next option. So when you signed a publishing deal, you know, you get your advance and you try to recoup the money. So you got to make the $450 back plus probably 25% on top of that. So that's what, another $112,000 on top of the $450. So I got to recoup $562,000.
Oh, so you're passed on a deal to go towards that number?
Yeah, I'm trying to recoup the money.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to do my song commitment, and I'm trying to get to the next option, which they control. So they still control the next option, which they offered you another amount, which is usually higher. You start at $450, next one might be $675, and if you can get to your third one, you get to $900,000, right? Well, we got to 8 options before this was all said and done, over and over, just by placing songs, producing, you know, and it was a cycle. But I understood now how this worked. You know what I'm saying? So I was able to negotiate the terms a little different. And mind you, the music business changed. The album, like, imagine having to place all those songs in the album. Like, the singles didn't even count. So we were able to renegotiate as the music business shifted into singles, that singles counted as one of our songs that were the placement. That's why that 3-year was a little faster for us. But man, it was a hell of a, experience. And now I own my own publishing company, right? So because I understand it, I really, really understand the game and that side. I wish I would have known more. And, that's kind of my mission now, man, to give the gems to the producers and to the guys that don't understand like how this shit really works, man.
So, man, you got something?
What else changed in your deals as you progressed, like in terms of your ownership, what you gave to people, all this stuff?
Well, I think as you build, your value as a brand, you could demand more of the publishing split, right? I think the standard is 50% is supposed to go to the producer, right? That's kind of the standard. But, like on Ridin, like we wrote the chorus, you know what I'm saying? Like, so we really should have got 75% of the record. Now, Chamillionaire did change some of the lyrics on it, but the melody and the idea was clearly Play-N-Skillz. The record was brought to him, hook, beat.
Y'all are songwriters.
Right. So we should get a little more on that, closer to 60 to 75% on the record. We did 50%. Cam and Crazy took the other half. Cool, no problem. His family at the time and everything else. So as we started, to build our brand, we were just able to maybe, demand a little more on what the split is, instead of being like, this is what you get. You get 15%. Yep. Now we can say, no. Like, we're more than just the producers. We're songwriting and putting the song together.
And you probably built that confidence for you, too, to be able to even ask for that stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, because, when you're first in the game, I mean, bro, like, and I tell everybody this, I was like, bro, everybody gets beat up at first, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's just, that's just part of the game, bro. Like, nobody came into this game, I don't care what you do. If you're a DJ, a rapper, a singer, like, you're going to get treated like shit. That's how you actually learn. You know what I'm saying? Like, is that, so in time, we were able to, and still to today I'll still sometimes take less if the opportunity is like worth it, man. You know what I'm saying? It's not always like that upfront money.
Right.
I'm not, and I've missed out on huge songs by arguing over 5% of publishing. So we've had some regretful moments as well.
Is there, if you're cool with talking about, is there one that got away from you? Yeah.
Yeah, there was a Flow Rider song that didn't come out. When Flow Rider, I'm talking about Flow Rider, this is Low, this is Wild Ones Flow, this is Flow Rider. Man, if you get a Flow Rider pop record, bro, #1 on radio, you crossing over to pop. I got in with Flow, wrote a great song, had a great song, and it wasn't even the publishing split. It was the fee. I was stuck on $20,000 being the Play-N-Skillz fee at the time. And the guy was like, all we have is $15,000 for you, bro. And I was like, well, we're not going to do it. I was like, I was, trying to be that creative, that I'm holding my ground. Right. That's a bunch of bullshit. I wasn't being a businessman.
Right.
I was just thinking like a creative.
Right.
And they pulled the track back. In fact, because it was a sample, they had somebody redo the sample.
Oh, man.
Another producer, man. And do it. Yeah. And then I forget what the song was. I think it was Round. And they flipped it. Yeah.
That shit?
Yeah. So
get the fuck out. Wait, y'all was supposed to do that record?
Yeah, the sample and everything else.
Damn, man. And that's perfect for Flow Rider, too.
Yeah, bro. And, Flow's super cool. It's my dog, you know what I'm saying? He didn't even know what was going on, you know what I'm saying? So it was just literally $5,000, which could have turned into not just that song, but, bro, the relationship that would have, because you get a pop record like that, then the next person comes, and the next person comes. And,
right.
So I also learned to understand when I need to leverage that, you know what I'm saying, as a businessman, and say, hey, okay, less here, more there.
Yep.
So, okay, you guys do the flip, you go on the flip run. But then y'all drop y'all's own project, though.
Yeah, the process.
Yeah.
05.
19, it's like 19th anniversary.
Yep, it was October 18, 2005 was when the album released. And that's interesting, the process, man, because we never wanted to be like, I respected the MC so much. I'm a big pun guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm listening to Cannabis. Like the MC, I was like, no, bro, those are rappers. But I knew how to put songs together. You know what I'm saying? So, I had my own studio. I made my own beats. I'm in here. I got all the time in the world to go line for line if I need to. You know what I'm saying? So my brother's helping me write my raps, and we're figuring out who works, what works. And we were able to do so many swaps with rappers that we kind of camouflaged all our songs with featuring Akon, featuring Chamillionaire, featuring Crazy Bone and Adina Howard, like that you kind of forgot about who the rapper was because we had an 8-bar thing. We're gonna give you 8 bars, great beat, great hook. And again, going back to the business, like we put out Freaks, was The World Has Too Many Freaks, which was like this underground song that was mixed horribly, wasn't even supposed to go to radio, like sample wasn't cleared. It's just a fucking disaster and blew the fuck up. It just blew up. And
wait, y'all were already in the game and y'all just raw dog to say y'all didn't even
raw dog, bro. Just like my partner Superman last night. Yeah, I mean, I didn't understand. I didn't know where the fuck am I gonna get the sample clear. This is Moments in Love, Art of Noise, big dun 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 dun. By the time the record blew up and we signed a record deal, we went to go get the clearance. They wanted $1 million for the clearance. Damn. But I had
y'all put it out first and they had already done with it.
Yeah, but we was like, well, fucking next song. We already got the shows. They can't stop me from performing at the streets. You know what I'm saying? Right. Out in the shows, made our money. And Universal Records calls us and was like, you guys want to do an album? I'm like, not really, but you want $300,000 to do an album? We're rapping tomorrow.
Yep.
I'm there. Come on, Skillz. Let's go in the studio for 3 weeks and let's make this goddamn album. Let's make this money and let's keep going. And truly, we started to like really have real fans. The Latino, community was like looking for this group or, anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We fit this pocket that was like right there. And bro, we toured all of the Southwest for so many years in markets that people didn't want to go to.
Yep.
Roswell, New Mexico, Albuquerque, all up and down California, all through Texas, Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we found like this space. And that's always been my thing, man, is find your spot in the game and own it, man. You can't take it all, bro. Take my little pieces. So yeah, we dropped The Process, man, and it's a classic in my eyes because it changed everything for us. You know what I'm saying? Like just, the business, a real record deal. Like we were real artists on Universal Records. You know what I'm saying? Like that was like, what the fuck? I got a record deal and I got a publishing deal all in 1 year? Mm-hmm. Bro, it happened so fast. So
y'all have management? Like how y'all making these moves like this?
Yeah, we did have management. We had a guy by the name of Charles Chavez who is a Houston legend.
Steven Chavez, I know his son.
Yeah. So that's his uncle. Charles is Steven's uncle.
Okay,
yeah. But Charles had this company called Latium Entertainment that was here. And what happened was...
T. Gray?
Of course.
T. Gray worked with...
T. Gray worked with Latium, of course, yeah. T. Gray was on the radio as well. And Charles had put out Sugar Sugar with Baby Bash and Frankie J. And I'm listening to K104, 97.9 The Beat, the urban stations in Dallas. I'm like, how are these two Mexicans on black radio? Like, and I'm trying to get my records on. And Charles happened to know how to work radio at the time. Well, the Source magazine came out and they did this big spread on me and my brother about the next producers to be. And he asked himself the same question. How are these two Mexicans, which we're not, but that's, just looking at it, he was like, how are these two Mexicans from Texas in the Source magazine and I'm not in business with them? So we were looking for each other. Anyhow, man, he came in and he had already the relationships in place and, and that. But even then, we were still kind of like trying to understand the business, man. It was still the wild, wild west, man. You know what I'm saying, for us. So, it was just, we grew up together.
But all these things are happening, though. Like, when does the Chamillionaire thing happen? Because this is like Ridin Dirty. All these things are like...
Yeah, back to back.
Yeah.
So, I've known Chamillionaire since we were 17, 18, high school, right? Like, we produced on, I want to say, Paul Wall and Chamillionaire's first mixtape album, like real album, not freestyles and all that.
Get Your Mind Correct?
Get Your Mind Correct. So I don't remember.
He loved Listen Man Tell that's the greatest thing to ever come out of Houston.
Come on, man. I love that group. I love that album so much.
Oh, bro, yeah. So I produced on that album. And I was really good friends with Paul, really good friends with Cam, where they were a group. They were coming to Dallas, and we were just, we were 20, 21 when we first started doing this. So Cam is doing his underground mixtape stuff and Chamillionaire and Paul War happening, and then Play-N-Skillz started doing all these shows. I'm going to Corpus Christi, 5,000 people. And Chamillionaire has a song with us called Call Me on the Process album.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And so I would bring Cam on as my hype man. So Chamillionaire was our hype man for I don't know how many shows. True story. You can go look at a bunch of YouTube videos. He's out there. He's singing the chorus kind of like in the back. Meanwhile, he's like underground, like super popular rapper, but
on the mainstream
level, he hadn't got that. He wasn't on the radio.
Yeah.
None of that. You know what I'm saying? So he's watching that going, bro. And then he's hearing all our songs on the radio. Houston was like one of my biggest markets when it came to Freaks and Latino Stand Up and Call Me. Like they supported the fuck out of those records. Yeah. He's hearing it. Cam's my friend. He's my hype man. He says, introduce me to Charles Chavez. Right? So he got introduced to Charles. Charles negotiated the deal with Cam at Universal Records. And our stipulation was let us at least produce 3 to 5 records on your debut album since we did the introduction. Because what I should have did was sign Chamillionaire to my production company. And looking back, you know what I'm saying? Because we had the muscle, we were the producers, and that's the proper way
typically
to do
that's how it be. That's how it
should. You know what I'm saying? Although Cam had his own thing, but this is a different level. So yeah, Cam ended up getting his deal, and was it The Ultimate Revenge or Sound of
Revenge?
Sound of Revenge. He worked on the album, bro, and he was done. And we weren't on the album. So I called Charles and said, bro, what the fuck? Like, and everybody's excited, like, waiting for Chamillionaire. And Houston thing is, and I'm like, I'm not a part of this, bro.
Right.
This shouldn't be happening. And Ridin Dirty happened to be the last song on the album. And he really didn't even want to record it, to tell you the truth, man. Like, so last song on the album ends up going on the album, and he put out Turn It Up with Flip.
All right, that was the first single.
Yeah, first single, which did well. It was cool. You know what I'm saying? And then the second single was Southern
Takeover with
Killer Mike and Pastor Troy, I think. Mm-hmm. And that wasn't doing so well at radio. And Charles, being this radio guy, says, fuck that. I'm going to leak Ridin Dirty. So he leaks Riding out to radio, and it flies. It was not supposed to be a single. We never thought it was going to be what it was supposed to be. So it just became this big mega hit. And now here we go with Ridin.
Does Turn It Up become the first single because y'all was supposed to have the upper hand on like the production and all that type of shit? Or did it just happen to be the first single like that?
Scott Storch did that. You know, Flip was on it. It was a weird time. You got to think too, right?
Scott Storch did that shit. He did that shit.
Yeah. And I mean, I felt left out of all that, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? I felt
was that out and y'all, and that's when, and y'all still were like out of the loop, or it was just a.
Yeah. That was already out. That was
out before y'all made Ridin.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
We had the Ridin song and the demo track, the chorus already done. It was sitting there.
Okay.
And Crazy Bone came to Houston to do a show with us. And Crazy Bone has told the story several times as well. And he didn't know who Chamillionaire was. The Freaks blew up, and Crazy was like, cool. I was like, yo, Chamillionaire is going to fucking blow up. This guy is dope-ass MC. Like, he got it. You got to get on this, bro. So he just ends up doing a verse. And, you know, Chamillionaire was like, I don't know about the record, blah, blah, blah. Ends up cutting the record, I guess, to kind of just have peace with everybody. Yeah. Nobody thought it was going to be what it became, you know. So, you know, that's just, you know, the hand of God, bro. I don't know how else to say it, man, because that's kind of been our whole career. It's like things happened that weren't supposed to happen, you know, and Ridin blew up, man. It was for our first #1 record, our first Grammy nominations, like all that whole thing, man. And actually, Ridin was the first song to win at every major award show that year. That was the first hip hop song to ever do that.
Oh, wow.
I mean, the Moon Award, the fucking BET, you know, you name it. I mean, that song won everything.
It's like the EGOT of hip hop, like got it all.
I think so.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So, hope nobody fact check me. I'm not sure. But I remember that time, that's what they said. So, you know, and we were the first to have 5 million ringtones. That's when ringtones was popping. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you got to think, that song was like, and still is, a classic, right? But like, for ringtones and all that, bro, that was another level. You know, so back then ringtones could go from $1.99 to $4.99. So the amount of money that song made, you know, it shifted everything when it was time for the second album, Chamillionaire. Because now everybody's saying you need to go in with Play-N-Skillz.
Right.
Because everything after that was a brick. That's just what it was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, man.
Okay, so let's. What happened with that though? Like,
you know, Chamillionaire is a great mind, man. Like sometimes he's not even in the conversation of the conversation that it should be. Like if Cam would have kept on, I mean, obviously he had tech plays and everything else. Like I wouldn't rap either if I was him. You know what I'm saying? But as far as talent wise, I mean, he was one of the first guys singing melodies on records.
I was about to bring that up. Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So like this is before Akon, before T-Pain on choruses, way before Drake.
Yep.
And that was what was kind of cool about Cam. And I used to be like, yo, bro, like you need to like really do that. And once you get this massive record, I think artists just kind of lose that. So the both of us got on some. He wanted to record in Germany. I wanted to record in Dallas. We're not agreeing. Just, you know.
You want to check out Germany?
Nah, man, I didn't at the time, bro. You know, I was trying to put on for Dallas.
Right, of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, and I was like, bro, we made the hit here. Let's stay in Texas. I told him, I said, let's go back to whatever it was that moment when we didn't have record deals, when we didn't have this. We got to get back into that.
but you can never get back to that though. Once it's hard as fuck.
I know, and that's what happened. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, he went on to do great things as a businessman, and you know, kind of faded into, you know, whatever it is. But man, he's one of the most talented, if not the most talented MC, I think, you know, arguably in Texas, you know what I'm saying, as a whole. Like that guy was, you know, he was special. So it didn't work out. You know, we moved on, thank God, and you know, we're still here.
What is it about Ridin Dirty though, that particular song? Like what makes that like it's a good song, you know what I'm saying? But like even when I got it, I didn't think it was gonna be as huge as it was.
I mean, me neither. Me neither, bro. I mean, I sat in the car with one of my homies and I played it after I did the record, and he was like, it's cool, but there's other songs on the Chamillionaire album that we thought were even better. And there's songs that never got released that we thought were even better. But I think the message was like important about that song. You know what I'm saying? I think that everybody can relate to police pulling you over, like that whole thing. And I think Cam was witty, and the repetition of trying to get you ridin' dirty,
that melody is so,
like, which by the way, I'm gonna give y'all another gem. Like that wasn't even supposed to be a part of it because it repeated, and Cam was beefing with Mike Jones at the time, and we know Mike Jones repeats lines.
Right.
So when Chamillionaire left the studio, I went in there and copied the hook over and over in that part. There was actually 2 other lines in the chorus. Yeah, so, you know, because, you know, it does the first 3 lines and then copies, trying to get you riding dirty, trying to get you riding dirty.
I ain't gonna lie, even with that, I wouldn't have associated that with Mike Jones though. That's crazy that the beef was so serious that
it
was like,
he did. You know what I'm saying? He wanted no parts of that, of the repetition and I was trying to talk him out. I'm like, bro, it's a hook. Hooks repeat. Like, what the fuck? Like, you're making this too complicated. There's too many lyrics. I'm getting lost in, like, what it is. And I got this theory about everything should be not A or B. It should be, like, C level so everybody understands it. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, not everybody that's riding around their car is breaking down songs into... They're just listening to it. Give them the melody. Give them something they can, you know, rap and sing along with. And you got a hit.
Right.
You know, so... Yeah, I mean, you're right. I don't know. Even the beat was an accident. There's like a noise in there. It's like a glitch. Like the keyboard's like, it's just the synth sound is like running in the song. It was like not even supposed to happen. So again, man, it's just like timing, and Texas was like, you know, booming and like.
And then you got fucking Crazy Bone on there. Like but nobody around here
that
was
was so random to me at the time. As a kid, that was so random to me.
Yeah, but you know, I was.
Now it makes sense.
Right. And because that came through us. You know what I'm saying? The Crazy Bone thing. And crazy enough, right after that, Bone Thugs got their deal with Swiss Beats. Remember they came back and they did that, and Swiss signed them because of Ridin Dirty.
Wow.
Yeah, signed Bone Thugs because of Ridin Dirty. He heard Crazy Bone and he was like, remember Crazy went on a run. He was on I Don't Give a Fuck with Lil Jon. He had Ridin Dirty. He was killing these features. And it brought Bone Thugs back to that. But, you know, Bone Thugs was me and my brother's favorite group growing up, melodically and everything else. So for us, it made all the sense in the world, you know. But Chamillionaire and Crazy One, I was like, how did that happen? You know, but it worked, man. It definitely worked.
Do you remember? You said there were some lines from the hook that got cut out. Do you remember what they were?
Smoking, drinking. Like, it was more of, I'm fucked up and I'm about to get pulled over. I'm out of here. But Chamillionaire don't smoke and don't drink. Right. Which is where it got changed. They see me rolling, not they see me smoking.
Oh, dang. Okay, I can hear that. Yeah.
And I don't remember it was like the last line that was like really wordy, where we did the repeat on it. But again, we left, we were like, I mean, you never know, bro. You know what I'm saying? It just, the tempo was weird too. It was like 72 BPM, so it was like still like a little slower, and it wasn't like energy. It was, you know, just that. So we weren't sure that was even going to work, you know.
I think that goes back to what you're saying though about that, what you're saying about that C level, that relatability. Yeah. Because if it had been, I've been smoking, I've been drinking, it's not as, you know.
That's not a Chamillionaire record.
Right, it's not a Chamillionaire record.
No, and that was a clever part on his behalf. Let me give him his props, because I don't want to make it sound, I'm just telling the real story. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, but that's how great he was. That he took this idea and like turn it in, let him live within this chorus idea. And I love that about him, that he was true to his lyrics and like never, you know, like he was so good that you didn't even feel, like, you know, he didn't cuss.
Right. Like, but you never noticed.
Felt it. He was so good and so clever at doing that. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't like, I think like hip hop fans could be like, what do you mean you don't cuss and you're a rapper? You know what I'm saying? Like, but he was so clever in doing that. And Ridin Dirty is a prime example of how it was still street and like rebelish, but like not preachy and not no cuss words. Was still, the message was still there. So, you know, it was very clever with him on the pen with that, for sure.
Oh man, so I'm in a DJ pool. It's like 2006, 7, got to be 6 maybe. Go pick up my records, man. I get this record. I look at it. I'm like, okay, I don't recognize this guy, but I recognize the producer. It's a guy named Kia Shine, and it's a song called "So Crispy," and it's produced by Play-N-Skillz. And I'm like, oh, y'all know Play-N-Skillz.
Y'all did that one?
Yeah.
Oh man, I didn't know that. Okay, sorry, keep going.
I will never forget the day I picked that record up and I put it on, and I was like, I mean, the song was cool, but the fucking beat, like, had the Paul Revere in there and all that shit, the little synth going and shit, like,
yeah. Again, not even supposed to happen. We went in the studio with Kia Shine. We were in Dallas, and man, I got a phone call from one of the big executives out there, Bruce Carbone. He's like, "Can you please go in with this guy named Kia Shine, Memphis? He's a priority for us." And I'm still on this, I want to be paid my money. So I used to demand half of my fee before I walked into the studio.
Love that.
You know what I'm saying? Which I missed out on some opportunities with that attitude and that ego. You know,
when you got a Grammy, you can do that type of shit though.
Yeah, but
you can feel like you can do that. Type of shit.
I felt like I was too early. You know what I'm saying? Like I had one and I had that.
Did you get the big head, or were you just trying to be more
I definitely got the big head. You know what I'm saying? Like, in all honesty, you know what I'm saying? I can, again, speak humbly on it because looking back, you know, I had mentors that were telling me like, bro, like, you're going to kill yourself like with these demands. It's going to work. And as long as you keep pumping the hit records out, you'll be fine. But the minute that you slow down, people are going to remember like your demands. You know what I'm saying? So anyhow, I wanted to be paid up front for the track. They worked it out to where we got half in front. I wanted this studio in Dallas, which was crazy expensive and the whole nine. I'm trying to abuse the label at this point because I had been taking so much from the music business. I was like, man, let me work in the big room, the SSL. Don't stick me in the fucking B room. Right. Like, let me get the room. Let it say my name. Let my grapes be in there. My motherfucking goddamn, you know, drinks on chill. You know what I'm saying? Like assistant engineer. Let me feel like important.
Try and get your lick back.
Yeah. And Kia showed up, man, and we worked on for 12 hours on beats. I mean, just beat after beat after beat after beat. Finally, I called the president over there, and I'm like, bro, I can't figure it out.
Is he not feeling it, or you just not feeling like y'all connecting on the music?
Both. I know that he was looking for that. That's when that simple ass sound that just was like undeniable. But we're in there, chords,
trying to make it musical.
You know what I'm saying? When like it would, you know what? You can never come in with the attitude of like, I'm going to make a number one record.
Right.
You just got to do it, man, because then you start overthinking and you start doing that whole nine. So at the very tail end of it, my brother Skillz, he just hits the MPC pad and it had the Paul Revere sample on it, and we slowed it down, we pitched it down, and that's what we had first. Then put 808 behind it, and this knock was on the MPC pad. So on the MPC, you can only play 16 notes. So 4 can really actually go together, and that's the 4 notes that we're playing with the knock.
Okay.
Wait, y'all played that whole beat on the MPC?
Yeah, no keyboards. Sounds. Meanwhile, we got every keyboard demanding the fucking motif, the Triton, the whole fucking and all it was
and that's what came out of
fucking
it.
MC. Yeah, and he came in and he said something along the line of crispy with the beat. It's like, man, it's so crispy.
Right.
It's like, that's the chorus. Goes in there, does it, knocks out the verses really quick, and and it became a hit for us in between Ridin and Wayne's Got Money. Something that we needed in hip hop.
Yeah.
And
there was like a remix of Crispy that came out with like everybody on it or something like that. Yeah.
LL Cool J.
Yeah.
Fucking, bruh.
Crazy.
I mean, rappers that that I dreamed of rapping on my beats, finally rapped on a beat through a remix. You know what I'm saying? So that was cool. I mean, Swiss was on it. Yep. LL was on it. Man, everybody. It was like 5 different remixes. That was the era of like 5 different remixes to a remix.
East Coast, West Coast, down south.
Exactly. So, that got us through a little era of having some juice in the game and doing that, man. So shout out to Kia Shine, man, for having the patience to like, because you're not sure when you go in if you're gonna, do that. But the record companies don't care. I hired you, give me a hit record. You know what I'm saying? That's the attitude when you're an A-list producer. It's like, we are hiring you to do that. So that's a lot of pressure, man, and you don't always hit the home run.
Yep.
Man, you said Got Money.
Yeah.
Talk about that, because was Wayne the original person? Like, how did y'all do it in the studio? Like, how did that whole thing?
No. So we went to New York to just let me explain this so we could put some context on like how difficult, and this is 2008, when you have a publishing deal and your publisher sends you on a trip to go work to New York, you're paying for it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's $2,500 for the big room, the flights, the hotel, the per diem, the rental. You're paying all this money that you have to pay back. So when you're going into the studio, bro, you got 8 hours to go in there, but you're like, bro, this is $3,000.
Right.
Like, you feel this type of pressure and this type of like discomfort and like knowing that you're already in the hole. I got to get out of this. So anyhow, we went to New York with that, and we were kind of like not filling the room, and Skillz again, man. It's bum, bum, bum.
Y'all not going to meet nobody. Y'all just going to cook.
Just going to cook. Studio in New York. We wanted to get the fuck out of Dallas, go to New York, catch a vibe there. And Skillz is like hitting the keys, puts an 808 on it. MPC again, but there is a keyboard involved. The assistant that's working in the studio walks by, unplugs MPC. We lose the beat.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so shitty. Well, it worked out, but so we lost the beat. We steam off. We leave. We're like, fuck this. We're out of here. I mean, it wasn't the guy's fault, but we're still upset about it. Next day, we go to another studio, and I ask Skillz, like, man. He was like, man, I know exactly how to play this back. Don't worry about it. And he recreates the synth line and the 808 exactly like it. Hold on to the beat for about a year. Don't think nothing of it. We give the beat to CNN, Capone and Noriega, who is working on an album. And they do a whole different song to it with Skillz on the hook, which is called Count My Money. We got the Nori version of this. Okay, cool. We don't hear nothing from it. I go to Pitbull, see Pitbull in Miami, playing the track, and he's like, do you mind if T-Pain sings the chorus instead of Skillz? Because Pain is my boy. This is 08 again.
Pain is just popping.
Pain is what? But you get a T-Pain chorus. It changed a lot. How many rappers that we don't even hear about anymore had a T-Pain chorus and had a moment?
I always think about Two Pistols when you say that.
I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to say that. I'm with you though. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? That. So everybody's wanting a T-Pain chorus, and that's running $250,000 for you to get a T-Pain chorus.
Jeez.
You know what I'm saying? So not everybody can do it because that'll shatter your budget or you don't have it. But Pitt has a relationship with T-Pain. This is Pitbull in jerseys and braids, not Pitbull.
Rapping Pitbull.
Rapping Pitbull, not Mrs. Worldwide. We ain't there
not
yet.
Not all white people.
No, we ain't there yet. We ain't on the yacht Pitbull, James Bond Pitbull. And Pitt sends it to Payne, and Payne ends up recutting the version of Count My Money to Got Money. Change, similar melody and everything else. So now we got the T-Pain chorus. Pitt raps on it. Pitt's ready to rock and roll with it. He's on TVT Records, and TVT says, we're not letting you release any music. So Pitt.
This is around the time they shut down?
Yeah. Yeah, so they're doing that. Pitt's in the middle of that. So Pitt, being my brother, being my friend, says, Babo, you got a T-Pain chorus. Take it. So I was like, what? Cool. So I had signed Tum Tum at the time to my company. So
shout out Tum Tum, man. That's my boy, man.
Yeah. Tum is my brother, man. So Tum recorded on the record. I was working with Slim Thug closely. Slim recorded on the record.
Wait. With T-Pain on the hook.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there could have been a Slim and T-Pain song.
Yeah. Damn. So Tum did a full version with T-Pain. Then there was a Tum, Slim Thug, T-Pain. Then there was a full Slim Thug. And then...
Why are these records not... what's going on with these?
Politically, it couldn't come out. So as we're doing this, from the beat making to the demos, that's like a year before it gets to Wayne. And I knew the song was a hit, especially when I got Payne's voice on, I was like, this is, okay, we got to find... Tum Tum was going through label issues. Slim was...
Going independent,
and he was like, it's a little too commercial for me. I'm like, bro, you're tripping, Slim. You know what I'm saying? So multiple people, and mind you, Nori and them still had their version of they haven't heard the T-Pain version. And so all that's happening, man, and I get a phone call maybe 2 months before the Carter 3 is about to come out, and it's T-Pain's manager, Mike Bloomstein, and he says, yo, you play Play-N-Skillz? Yeah. He's like, listen to this. And he plays the beat. He's like, did you make this beat? I was like, yeah, that's us. So I got a big major artist that wants to do the record. I can't tell you who it is. I just want to make sure you made the beat. I was like, okay. Well, you got to tell me who it is, bro. I don't know. He's like, I can't disclose that, but just put it to the side. I was like, the fuck? No. Calls me back the next day. He's like, all right, man. It's because the Carter 3 was the most anticipated moment, not just in music, the fucking world, bro. Yeah. There was nothing more important than Wayne's Carter 3 happening. Wayne had killed all the features.
Sidebar, before that, killed the fucking, when y'all did the Ridin shit on Drop 3. That was before Carter 3.
Right. You're right. Killed that. I mean, he just, so he ends up telling me, that it's Wayne, it's Carter 3. I'm excited because that was the one project as a producer that I wanted to be a part of. Every producer wanted to be a part of the Carter 3. I didn't know how to get to Wayne at the time, and it just fell into his lap because T-Pain took that chorus. Because Payne's room at the Hit Factory in Miami is next to Wayne's. So he took that beat and that chorus into Wayne's room, was like, I got the song for you. Wayne ends up recording it. Yeah, bro, 2 months before the Carter 3 comes out. And, bro, I didn't even mix the record. It was just from the 2-track. Next thing I know, it's out. But now...
Wait, the Carter 3 version is a 2-track?
Yeah. They ended up fixing the record. So the first production of the Carter 3 had the 2-track version of it. Then they ended up having to go back and do it because I hadn't let the files go because I didn't know what was going on. Now, mind you, back then, if you're making an album, you got to turn this shit in 3 months before because the production, you're actually pressing CDs and doing the whole nine. It ain't now where you just swap a fucking wave out. So once the album's turned in, the album's turned in, right? Well, I wouldn't give up the files because we hadn't done all the business on everything on it. So anyhow, record ends up coming out. blows the fuck up. But now I got to call Nori and kind of explain to him before the album comes out. I'm like, you know that beat and that song? But Nori was super cool. He was like, nah, bro. He was like, that's a big moment for you guys. Like, just give me another one. You know what I'm saying? So, man, it worked out. And that was a game changer right there, man.
Okay, how did your life change at that point? Because you're talking about Carter 3, bro. Like,
next level. Because the first hit, I didn't even know what a number one hit financially felt like. I didn't know how the game treats you and how to do the game. Again,
are you saying you didn't know financially because you were tied into that deal and you just didn't never see what you were supposed to see off of it? Or what?
No, because I fucked off the first go.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? To be completely honest. I mean, bro, you know, I openly say this, and I say this only for motivational purposes, because I want people to know that, like, you know, if you don't know, you just don't know. You know what I'm saying? Listen to somebody else's experiences at doing this. I got my first ASCAP check. It was $89,000. This is when it went into the mailbox. And I came out of my house, opened the check, and go, what the fuck? And that shit said my real name on it. It didn't even say Play-N-Skillz, right? So I called my brother. I'm like, you need to go to the mailbox, bro. So he goes, and he's like, he got 89 grand. So me not knowing how this works, I'm like, oh, this is going to happen every 3 months for the rest of my life. So here I go. I'm going to buy a car, buy a fucking chain, buy a motorcycle, blah, 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 gamble, live my life. And after 89 became 59, became 29, became 19. Then you get the international one that jumps up back to that, because that comes 18 months after that. So then you get another big chunk. So I'm thinking that this is going to work out. And then after 3 years, shit slows down. So we're looking for a way we need another hit record. And here comes Got Money. And so now I know, no, that's not how it works. We're going to be smart about how we do this. We're going to renegotiate our publishing deal. We're going to go, you know, save this money. We know how this works, man. So away from like the fame at the time, because I also hired a publicist to let everybody know we produced the record, right? Like, so that was the days of allhiphop.com and all this stuff. So we went after all of that publicity to continue to promote our brand. I was set up for this time, you know, which I wasn't on Ridin. I'm saying, I picked up a Billboard magazine. I was like, oh, we're number one. Not knowing how big.
Take advantage of this shit.
Exactly,
right.
bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to be doing a party, events, this, that. Everybody needs to know, you know, because so that's what I'm saying is, like, we got a second wind at like the game, and we were way more mature, and bro, it's Wayne. It's like the Carter 3, bro. It's like arguably, you know, top 10 hip hop album. You know what I'm saying? So we were part of that. And it was our second big hip hop classic coming after Ridin. Got Money still gets played, bro.
Yeah, I still play Got Money.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it still has that energy. So, and we were able to do right in our publishing, you know, our producer credits, you know, the record starts with our tag, you know, all that. So everything was right in that, until we had the lawsuit, which everybody did, all the producers on the Carter 3. You know what I'm saying? From Bangladesh.
What happened?
Nobody got paid.
Oh, wow.
On the Carter 3.
That's not good.
Yeah, so.
Because he held it up with the Millie thing, or what?
Well, Bang had a Millie, Jim Johnson had Lollipop, we had Got Money, and they didn't pay any of the producers on that. No royalties, no production fee, nothing. They just, I'm thinking that they thought everybody was just excited to be a part of that, because it was more of a, you're lucky to be on this. But I was like, fuck that. So I jumped out first. And I remember vividly, like, going to the Hit Factory and literally talking to Slim and Birdman saying, guys, like, I don't want this to be a lawsuit. Like, can we figure this out? It's been a couple years. We haven't got paid off of this. Like, we know the money's there. We know it did well. And, he, you know, Slim was like, that's Young Money. It's a problem, not Cash Money. So now I go to Wayne. I'm like, because Wayne wants to continue working. And he's like, that's Cash Money's problem, not Young Money. So we go back into this whole thing, man, and we end up having to sue Cash Money. And we were the first ones to actually jump out. And, you know, the headline is on Google, Play-N-Skillz, sue Lil Wayne for $1 million for And that gave Bangladesh the courage, because I remember talking to Bang, and he was like, because if you sue Cash Money, you sue Wayne at that time, and they're at the top of this, you might get blackballed as a producer.
Totally.
You know what I'm saying? Because they might be thinking that I'm not trying to hit a lick. I'm trying to get what's mine, brother.
Right.
You know, and you guys don't want to, you're stealing from me at that point. And I was like, I was prepared to never work with Wayne and Cash Money again, because I just thought it was unfair and I wanted what was due to me and my brother. So we ended up settling and the whole nine, but it was, again, another learning process in that, man, you know.
I mean, I know that you guys had hits at that point, but like, how much courage did it take to even start having that conversation with them? Because they're such intimidating figures.
They are. I mean, I had some people in my corner that were willing to help us. Like Jay Prince got on the phone with me and was willing to help, you know.
You had to make those kind of calls.
Yeah. You know, International Red is a good friend of mine. And, you know, I told him what was going on. I was like, I mean, how do I go about this? You know what I'm saying? Like, because that is the ultimate mob in the music business, Cash Money Records. And I'm good friends with Manny Fresh. So I called Fresh and I was like, and Fresh was like, good luck, buddy. It's like, I did every beat for like 15 years for Juvenile, Big Time, this and that. It's like, you're going to have to sue them. It's going to cost you a shitload of money and it could be the end of your career. And I was like, well, you know, I'm cut from a different cloth, man. I guess, you know, I can't sit here and just let somebody rob me, bro.
Yep.
I guess it's going to be the end of me, man, if that's the case. But I knew that there was more because I believed in me and my brother, production and songwriting, that we could branch out into other things. And which takes us to like the next phase of our career, because that's when we started writing EDM records and working on that side.
Yep.
Because the hip hop shit was so fucked up. I mean, no rappers were paying.
I was going to ask that because it was like y'all had this huge moment with the Carter 3 and then y'all just went left.
Yeah. Well, that's why. Because here I am in the studio with French Montana, you know, working on a song, and, you know, 2 weeks later it's on thatpiff.com on a fucking mixtape. You know, I'm like, bruh, like, what's going on? And it happened with Wayne again after the lawsuit. Now, Wayne don't even know that it's my beat. You know what I'm saying? He just has a beat CD. Wayne's going in there rapping songs, and I'm like, no, I'm not getting paid off of this, bro. This is not what I signed up for. Like, I'm not into free beats. And then I even tried to say, all right, we'll put my name in the parentheses of the fucking, so people at least know it's us, and I can, you know, make money elsewhere.
Yeah.
But none of that was happening. I was like, hip hop is, because that's when the giving away music started happening.
But I was going to ask, like, I feel like when the process came out is also when LimeWire was like at its peak.
Fucked us.
So that's what I was going to ask, how you felt about that. Because that's how I found a lot of y'all's music, was on LimeWire.
I mean, it helped us because it helped spread the music faster than we could ever do. There was no marketing campaign that could, you know, that could do what that was doing, you know? Yeah. But when it came to the numbers, like, bro, you know, we got dropped because our CD didn't do well the first week. And it wasn't that it wasn't popular in the streets. It wasn't that we didn't have, you know, songs on the radio. It just, everybody already had it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It was already bootlegged, songs, this, that. Yep. So that's when it started going backwards for us on the hip hop side. And I started going, man, this is what I love to do, but this is not all I do. Yep. And then I wanted to challenge myself into going left, like you say, and saying, all right, let's rebuild, let's pivot, let's rebrand Play-N-Skillz. And so we have another 5 years or whatever it needs to be. So.
But your roots, you said, come a little bit from house music.
Yeah.
Anyway, so maybe it wasn't that left for y'all.
No, musically it was not left at all.
Yeah.
And in fact, Flo Rida is a rapper, really. Mm-hmm. So if I'm working with Flo Rida, I'm working with James Bond, Pitbull. You know,
you're still in pocket a bit.
Yeah, I mean, they're still rapping on the records.
Right.
LMFAO raps on records. They're just rapping at 128 BPM over dance beats. You know what I'm saying? But it's still structured like a rap song. Rap verse, chorus, not house music to where it's only beats playing for 6 minutes. This is still a type of structure that we understand in pop writing, you know, and doing that. So, and bro, all it took was like me going on a tour with LMFAO in Australia, and I said, I got this wrong. Because this shit is next level. Right. The amount of fans, the amount of energy, and like you go to the other parts. I hadn't been on anywhere in the world. You know what I'm saying? I hadn't gone to Europe, gone to Australia, gone to Asia. I was kind of like Texas hip hop and whatever happened here. When I went there and I saw, oh my God, like this is so much bigger, you know, let me dive into this. Mm-hmm. And that's when we started kind of like writing and producing for all those guys.
I distinctly remember the first time I heard Halle Berry. And it was just some Dallas shit, like some just like, oh, this is what they doing in Dallas right now. Like the boogie movement was going on, and that was what it was. And then Hurricane Chris popped up with the record, and I was like, how does this even happen for a Louisiana guy with this Dallas record?
Halle Berry, man. Okay, so this is 08, 09, after Got Money, maybe 2009, 2010. So after Got Money, I signed a joint venture with SRC, which had David Banner, Akon, Steve Rifkin's company, my brother Gabi, and I signed a joint venture to sign Dallas artists and stuff in Texas, right? So I come back to Dallas, I'm watching this Dallas boogie movement happen. Like, what the fuck is Stanky Leg? What is all this? And really cool, fun songs, not stuff that I didn't even know how to produce. I don't even know how to write that because it's just whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like this thing with this young, and I'm in love with like the songs, but I'm trying to find a song that makes sense to me. In fact, I was going to sign Stanky Leg first before I signed Halle Berry, the song. And Young Jock beat me to it. He actually flew to Dallas and got on the air, was like, whoever did Stanky Leg, I'm looking for you. This is Young Jock. Is going down. Right. Like Jock is
right. He's big.
He's big. So he found the kids, man, and signed them to the deal. And he, Young Jock actually owns the publishing on that song.
That's crazy. So he's still getting checks like that.
Yeah. So So then I heard Halle Berry on the radio, and I was like, damn, this is fucking great. But it was the original version of it, right? There's the version.
Was that Superstar and Dero on there? Or?
Yeah, it was Superstar and Dero. But the production, and it was Q Smith who did the original production on the song, and I liked the song, man, but I felt like it could be so much more bigger. So Dero had Walk That Walk, I think, and we got in touch with Superstar and Dero. We had a meeting in Dallas, and I was like, all right, I'm prepared to sign whose ever song this is, because there was like a blurry space and there were different versions of Halle Berry, right? So I was like, well, whose song is it? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it yours, Dero, or is it Superstars? Is it this remix with 20 motherfuckers on it? Like, whose song is this? Because I can't sign 20 guys. Like, whose song is this? Superstar was like, this is my song. Dero jumped on it. And then Dero says, well, I helped break the record in the streets and the marketing. I said, yeah, but that doesn't make it your song. So I was like, all right, cool. Well, I'll sign both of you guys and the producer to our company. And Dero says, I don't want to sign to you. Not nothing personal. He's like, I want to do my independent thing. It's not a shot at Dero. Dero's a good friend of mine. You know what I'm saying? Which is smart for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't have to sign to a producer group. So Dero literally leaves the meeting, and we ended up doing the deal with Superstar. And the song had only like bubbled in Texas, Louisiana, maybe Oklahoma, but it hadn't stretched. I was like, man, let's do a remix. Again, Tum Tum is signed to me at the time, and I was working with Hurricane Chris. Chris heard the record. He was like, let me jump on the remix. So it was just going to be a remix with Superstar, Tum Tum, and Hurricane Chris. Chris rapped last on it. His manager hears the record, and he says, this song is a nationwide hit. Would you be interested in selling the song to Hurricane Chris? I know that regionally the song has been out, but it hasn't blown up nationwide. I said, all right, cool, man. Sounds like a plan. Let me talk to the artist. So I go to him and I say, hey, this is an opportunity for the record to be on a major label. And I negotiated a big fee for them to pay us, including the artist. And I negotiated for him to stay on the record and for him to perform in the video and for him to go on tour with Chris and do 106 in Park and do the whole nine. And that's what happened. So we ended up rearranging the record, made it a Hurricane Chris record, and then we spread it out nationwide. And that's how it became a Hurricane Chris song. You know what I'm saying? The official single of that.
Smash. I remember that shit was on like Ellen or somebody had talk shows and shit. It was just like,
she actually Ellen asked, had the Halle Berry, like, have you heard the song? And she was like, no. And they played it, and then she got up and started dancing. Woo. And that was it.
Out of there.
Halle Berry danced to her song, right? And that was like one of those moments that changed the song. But, you know, it blew up, and it did. There was a lot of there were mixed feelings about the record, right? Because we took the role off the record. There were other guys, there were DJs that were involved to help break the record. And, you know, but it was just business, bro. You know what I'm saying? It was like, it's a great song. I know how to do this.
It was the right move at the end of the day.
Okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure everybody sees that now, but back then it was like, we looked like assholes. But I was just playing the business on it because I understood that, bro, this song has already been played in fucking Tyler, Texas 5,000 times. Like, we can't play it anymore in Tyler and fucking, you know, in Houston and Dallas. Like, let's go to California. And Hurricane Chris was, you know, coming off of a big hit and needed something else, but he had a big major label that was going to put a ton of money behind it. I'm telling Superstar, like, bro, you're on the second verse. You're in the video. This is going to set up your next single. Let's get the next single ready for you and use this as a songwriting credit, you know, and you've already made, you know, the money here on this portion of the regional side, and you're going to continue to do it. And because Superstar and whoever else was involved in that didn't understand that we were just doing business on it, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it got complicated or whatever, and song kind of just died off after it went, like, it literally went all the way to #1 on radio, and then it just went away because I think the streets didn't know how to love it, if that makes any sense. But let's fast forward, right, to this year. Sexy Red just sampled Halle Berry. So I'm a Superstar, sent me a message. Thank you.
There it is.
Had Hurricane Chris not used this record and it became nationwide, Tay Keith, who was the producer of the new version of the record with Sexy Red, probably would have never heard that record. It would have just been one of those Texas boogie songs that had its moment and is popular in Dallas and Houston, and that's it. So now we all get to eat again, you know what I'm saying, off of this song. And by the way, that song's at, like,
that's what I'm saying. It's Sexy Red. That's one of the hottest records, like, yeah, and been for some months now.
That's her biggest record at radio. That's her biggest streaming song. That's Sexy Red's biggest song. You know what I'm saying? Like, when it comes to mainstream. So imagine the people that are involved in that as writers, which is Superstar, Play-N-Skillz, and the original producer of this. We all get a piece of the publishing on that record. So, you know, if Sexy Red wins a BMI award, I win a BMI award. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a writer on the record, right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's owning the publishing. That's knowing, you know what I'm saying, like, the game back then to be able to have this opportunity now. And back then, maybe everybody didn't see it like that, but I had already learned that from the previous events that we talked about with all the publishing and the game and everything else. So that's kind of the story of Halle Berry, man. I'm happy she used it. You know, I'm happy for them. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lesson also for people to look at the bigger picture, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you might have to give this up to get this on the producer side. So that's Halle Berry, man.
Were you already transitioning to other genres before that, or was that a contributing factor of, like, you know what, this rap shit is just too much, man?
Exactly. That was another, fuck this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm arguing with you, bro, and I just put $50,000 in your pocket. And you're a rapper in Killeen, Texas. Like, with like, what? Like, what are we arguing about here? And then I'm still producing, and, like, you're on 106 in Park. I'm not. And I'm arguing I'm trying to teach you. I'm not, bro. No. I'm done with this. And we actually got rid of the joint venture as a whole, because I was like, I don't want to be a record label guy. I don't like this position there. I just want to produce records and do that. So that was like, yeah, all that was, you know, what kind of just started. It wasn't fuck hip hop. It was fuck the hip hop business. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not organized. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't even, like, turn in the credits of people. You know what I'm saying? I imagine it sucks for a songwriter that writes. And, like, the worst thing that could happen, if you're already getting fucked in the publishing that you're getting, you're not getting no money. Well, damn, at least let me show my family that I wrote this record. Let me show my wife who's grinding with me, doesn't understand that I go to the studio all these hours. You're going, well, I don't see it, because they don't see that. The fucking 10 hours to get to that point. So, you know, I started getting frustrated with that. And I promised myself that when I got to a position, which I am now, that every songwriter and every producer I work with is credited correctly on everything. You you know, and it doesn't always go right the first day because Apple can fuck some up, Spotify, but you can correct it and it makes people happy. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Like just getting that
recognition. Yeah. The respect.
So, yeah. And, you know, then we started sliding off into the next phase.
So, talk about the whole thing. Like, how'd y'all even, like, get so established in that? Because, I mean, once you got in there, you just ran it up, dog.
I'm trying to think of the moment that, when I moved to LA. So I finally, like, got up and said, let's move Play-N-Skillz to LA. Built the studio there, and that was crazy because, like, everybody's there. Now you're, like, in the major leagues of there's all these amazing producers. Like in Dallas, it was us. So it was like we felt a certain way of how we could move to LA. It's like, you know, all right, cool. You got that Ferrari. Well, there's this one of one Ferrari. Like it's always just levels. And we felt that when we got to LA. So the pressure of us songwriting and producing had to go up. And we started taking sessions as just writers, not even producers.
Oh, wow.
So the first big break that we got was with David Guetta, Flo Rida, Nicki Minaj. Guetta had us come in to write a chorus for Flo Rida, which is Where Them Girls had the song. And that was the first time us writing over somebody else's track. It was David Guetta's beat. It wasn't even our beat. We just wrote the chorus and I started songwriting.
Were y'all, so because you're talking about songwriting, were y'all not producing in that genre and y'all were like, oh, it's just an easier end to get in as a songwriter? Like
they were already established producers, and like in the dance world, it's like that's what makes those DJs cool is that they produce their own music, right? Or say they do, whoever it is, right? Guetta does, but so I just understood that it was a different role. You know what I'm saying? I always tell people about different dimensions that you have in a game. Like for Play-N-Skillz, we got paid as DJs, producers, songwriters, artists, publishing, joint ventures. Like we got different ways of getting paid within our brand in case one slows up, right? Then, you know, okay, I don't have a hit record at this moment, but I'm DJing and playing all over the world, you know? So that role as a songwriter was just another role we had to play. You know what I'm saying? I learned, and then I was like, wait a minute, like I can get paid like songwriting for other people, like I don't have to deal with all the other shit, bro. Cool. So we started that whole writing of going into doing sessions in LA, and songwriting, man, and man, that was just a whole different, you know, thing. I'm so used to going into a session and it's 50 motherfuckers and so much weed smoke that I can't even fucking see the room, and like random people. It's like the whole energy of like those hip hop sessions. I was over, man. I was just like, and then I met these EDM guys. Or this one guy coming in here, man. He wants to work at 3 p.m., not 3 a.m. Right? And he's like, and it smells great in the studio, and it's clean and it's quiet. And it's like, just go and do your job. And yes, we're gonna pay you. Okay, is that what you want? What? Brother.
I didn't know it could be that easy.
Yeah, bro.
Did you know at that moment, like, yeah, this is it. I'm not fucking.
I said, man, we need to pivot, man. And you know, again, being DJs that played that stuff, we were able to transition into that because I understood the tempo, I understood the build-ups, I understood the drop, you know, and the emotion of electronic music because I was a fan. So it wasn't that much because by the way, everybody was trying to do EDM style around that 2010, 11, 12 when the Black Eyed Peas and LMFAO and all that shit was happening. All the rappers started like doing EDM beats. I mean, you watching Pitbull go from like bottom of the map to fucking, you know, doing Give Me Everything with Neo, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you're watching this rapper from Miami, like do arenas, do stadiums, you know what I'm saying? Like Madonna brought LMFAO out in the Super Bowl to do the shuffle. Yeah. Like I'm watching, I'm like, bro, no, I need to be in this with this trend, man, and fit in my own place. So, yeah, that happened for us, man, and that was definitely a game changer for us too.
Talk about like connecting with Daddy Yankee and all that, because I mean that's a
So the reggaeton movement, 2004, 2005, Gasolina was like the first big world reggaeton record. And I was such a hip hop guy. I never was into the reggaeton. It just wasn't my thing. I didn't understand it. Respected it from a distance, but had never worked with any reggaeton artists prior to meeting Daddy Yankee in 2014. And we met Daddy Yankee because he saw a video that we had with Red Food and Lil Jon, this song called Literally I Can't. It was like this viral song we were trying to do. But the video was just, it was a great video, and he thought it was cool. And Daddy Yankee reached out to me and was like, hey, I want to make Pitbull records. That's what he said to me. Because Pitbull was like, Pitbull and Neo, Pitbull and fucking Kesha. Like just, I mean, you couldn't get away from Pitbull, bro. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And he was like the perfect crossover rapper, Latin.
Yep.
So Daddy Yankee wanted to make records like that. That's actually how I connected with Daddy Yankee, was to make English American records. And then when we got in, it didn't work out because there's a certain flow, a certain thing that has to happen as an MC when you try to do a different language. He wasn't as comfortable as he was rapping and singing in Spanish as he was in English. Although he talks English fluently in conversation, the performance
is different.
You know what I'm saying? And Pitt being born in Miami and being of Cuban origin is different than him being born in Cuba going to Miami.
Right.
Yankee's Puerto Rican.
Yep.
Right? Spanish first language, English second language. Right? So the performance didn't work out. Anyhow, that turned into us doing a version of a reggaeton electro type of song. And that opened my relationship with him, which that was another game changer for us, man. Because now, 2015, 2016, reggaeton is, J Balvin is being born. Bad Bunny is happening. Anuel, Ozuna, and this Latin movement is just, and I'm watching, I'm going, oh man, we need to be right there. Who better than the GOAT, Yankee? So we just, I just grabbed onto the back of his back of the car. I was like, bro, I'm on the hitch. Like, where you going? Okay, we come. Yes, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's go. And the fact that we came from a hip hop background and we produced Wayne and Snoop and then we did the EDM stuff, the Latin artists were so open to like working with an American hip hop producer. You know what I'm saying? So it was to my advantage that I had this credibility in the hip hop world. You know what I'm saying? That's important to the reggaeton artists. You know what I'm saying? They're still urban artists. And it was important that we were doing a version of what they're trying to do, but we had all this hip hop influence in what we were doing. So that's what made us move from LA to Miami, was a reggaeton thing. We got up and left for 2019, right when Con Calma, which was the big hit that we did for Yankee.
I love that song.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was y'all for a minute. I love that song. Y'all crushed that.
Yeah, man. That was, and that song had been done for like 2 years. I think that song was like 2017. And then Despacito happened for Yankee, right? Like, I think that was like the beginning of like the Latin boom, was Despacito. When Bieber jumped on that shit, like you couldn't get away from it.
There was a rap after that. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So Yankee, once that happened, Yankee's whole marketing plan changed because we were going to come with Con Calma in 2017.
Oh, wow.
And then Despacito happened. He was like, wait a minute. We're going to ride this, and I'm going to release this, and this to set up. And I remember every 3 months calling Yankee going, bro, I need one. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, like we need. And he's like, patience, patience, patience. And he was totally prepared when that was supposed to happen. And that went, to the next level. And that was our, another number one song for us. But it had been almost 10 years, like 8 years in between, a number one record for us. Yeah, man. So that got us back into the current, instead of just talking about riding, now we had something that was like right now. And that opened the whole Latin, the doors with, I think Wisin Yandel, Nicky Jam, and like all the artists. And now we built a studio in Miami. We moved to Miami where all the Latin artists are at. And we're like, cool. But again, our hip hop and our DJ connection is like what a lot of the Latin artists love, because I was the king of putting that together. All right, Steve Aoki, you want to work with Daddy Yankee? I'll be in the middle and help produce back and forth with Aoki. I'll help write, help glue this all together. And, so you know, again, I'm going back to the DJ shit, man. Just all the genres and like so many nights of like studying all the crates. You know what I'm saying? Bro, I lived at record shops, man.
You did your 10,000 hours. You did your 100,000 hours.
I did those, bro. I went to the record shop and sat there for 8 hours at, you know, what is it? Forever Young Records, or that's what it was in Dallas, whatever record shop. And I just pull records. I go to a little stand. I'm listening, trying to find a break that I can sample at the time. But I'm also learning soulful records, Motown, jazz, all these records, and I'm studying. So I'm not surprised or that we're able to produce in different genres and kind of put it all together, because we did the fucking hours, man. We studied that shit.
Where's y'all's families from?
Okay, so my mom is Venezuelan. My dad's Argentinian.
Reggaeton big or not so big?
Nah.
What's more, like cumbia's bigger, or what's
Cumbias
bigger?
are big in Argentina. Venezuela, now the reggaeton thing is there, but it's more Latin pop, salsa. But again, my house was not musically, like, there wasn't the story of like, I don't know, my dad played the trombone and some shit, like, it wasn't, that's not why.
Right.
We are Latinos, that's what we are, you know what I'm saying? It's like, but I don't have like a Latin background in producing. You know what I'm saying? Just, in fact, all the records that we do in that space,
they feel like rap, R&B, like it's very, it's more of that. You know what I'm saying?
But that's kind of like the magic in it. You know what I'm saying? And like sometimes it hits, and sometimes it's too confusing because it is that. But that's who we are. I can't change that. You know what I'm saying? I can't go do what Tiny's doing, who's like the ultimate reggaeton producer, or Gabi Music, or Looney Tunes, who are like known for that. Like I always say, we're not reggaeton producers. We're just music producers.
There you go.
But we'll do a version of reggaeton. I'm a fan. Yeah. Like I'm doing Afro beats now. I love Afro beats, but I'm not the Afro beat like king of that shit. But I can probably do Afro beat in my own way of doing it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference and where we're able to like really, really pivot and like live in our own world, but not leave our, you know, original stamp that we had. You know what I'm saying? Like we're always going to be the Ridin Dirty guys that got money. Like I always want that to be important as much as Con Calma and everything else. So, I mean, it's crazy, bro. Sometimes I go in there with these younger artists. They don't even know that I did all that. I'm in a session, like somebody has to tell like this younger artist,
you know he produced for Lil Wayne.
And I was like, you know, they're like, oh my God, my dad used to listen to that song. I'm like,
don't say that. Don't make me feel
Ridin Dirty, like, you know, and it's like, really? Like, you guys, it doesn't make sense, right? But it does, you know what I'm saying, if you know our story, you know what I'm saying, in that. So I think that's cool, man, because, you know, we almost get to be like a whole different, I mean, we even thought about at times changing our name. Like when we change genres, we were like, oh, let's just go back.
Y'all got to be Play-N-Skillz.
That's right. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, let me tell you something though. It's, you know, you're taking a big chance when you bounce around in genres, right? Because you can confuse your audience, your core fan base. People are going to kind of go, I don't understand, you know, or this is completely different. We get people that go, still, bro, man, y'all got to do the process too. I'm like, bro. I'm like, I wasn't a good rapper then, and I damn sure am not a good rapper now, so that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it could be death to you. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know how to navigate in doing that, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes producers will just find the moment, sound, and go do that, and it doesn't connect. It connected for us, you know what I'm saying, so far. So, you know, we're blessed.
Man, you sold a lot of records. How many have you sold on the hip hop side versus when you decided to pivot and go to another direction?
We sold way more records on the global stuff, man. Yeah, I mean,
it's not even close. It's no.
No, it's not. I mean, it's hard to tell now because the streaming confuses the shit out of people. Because I mean, you see people like, I got 100,000 streams, you know, bro. You know, if you divide that by 150, I don't know the exact math on that, but that's how many singles you would have sold, right? Okay. So it takes 150 streams for you to count as one single. So really 100,000 streams is not that much. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, 1,000 singles, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But the 100,000 looks big, or 1 million streams looks big. You know, so when you look at our Spotify back page and we're going down all of our records, Ridin only has like 200 million, 250 million streams. And Concama has 1.3 billion.
Yep.
Right? But the impact between both records culturally is, I feel like Ridin Dirty is way more powerful.
For sure.
It has been around for so long.
What's my man even did the remix? It was on White and Nerdy.
Weird Al
Yankee.
Yeah.
Like when he touches shit, you know,
It's a wrap. Yeah.
I got a cool story on that, man, that I want to share with y'all.
What you got?
He covers, he covered Bad, Michael Jackson.
Coolio, fucking Gangsta's Paradise.
So he used to have his band replay the track, right? So he didn't have to pay for the master. It's the master side, and you got the publishing side, right? So the publisher would get what they get, and then he would own the master of this new recording. You basically license the song. Well, like I was telling you guys earlier, that on Ridin, there was a glitch on the synth that could not be recreated. So he had his band try to recreate the track. But bro, it was fucked up from the beginning. There's no recreating. I don't care what musician you get in there. So he was running out of time, and he ended up using just the instrumental, which is our master.
Nice.
So we let him do that number. And to all the producers out there, like, don't jump up and like try to do a cease and desist and sue the person immediately. Let that song grow its leg. You're not going to get paid from it immediately anyways. It takes 9 months for you to get paid on a song.
Yep.
Drops today, you're not getting paid 9 months from now from your ASCAP, from your royalties and everything else. So let the song be as big as it's going to be. Then you can get all the money. Because if you scare the person away, they might say, you know what, that song's a problem. We're not going to market the record.
Yep.
That's not going to be the single. So we let Weird Al just run with the shit. And then like 3 months later, we're like, oh, by the way, that's 100% ours.
Yep.
So we, Play-N-Skillz Chamillionaire, actually own the White and Nerdy version.
No way.
Song. Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
Damn.
Chess.
Hell of a move. Well, man, Sama'an, you got anything before we close this part out?
You know, what we didn't ask is how'd y'all get y'all's name?
Oh, man, and we had a bunch of goofy ass DJ names at first, man. I think Skills like DJ Magic. I was something else. We were the twins at one point because early on, me and my brother looked exactly alike, like in high school. And we were DJ Play and DJ Skillz. And then we just dropped the DJ and became Play-N-Skillz. I don't know why it was Play.
Right, that's what I was going to ask.
I want to say house party, like, kind of influence. Because, like, you know, Kid and Play had, like, they would go to houses and, you know, they threw their parties. I want to say that that's probably where I got the Play thing from. Because we still get confused for Kid and Play for whatever fucking reason sometimes. But, yeah, man, it was just, we just dropped the DJ name and just became Play-N-Skillz, man. And, you know, we've been living in that. Trust me, like I said, we were going to change it like 3 or 4 times. But now it's like, it's cemented. I can't see it no other way.
And just so somebody going to say, well, where's the other one? Where's your brother, man?
Yeah, so Skills, so he man, he's a studio guy, man. I'm saying, like, he's going to sit here and he's going to be like, I just want to make the beats. You know what I'm saying? I want to play for the people. He's just one of those guys, man. Not that he is against the media or talking about it, but that's never been his role, man. He just goes in there and he does what he does. And, you know, he's living in Miami. I mean, basically retired, like, producer, picks what he wants to work on. You know, he's in a great place, man. I'm happy for him. And, you know, I've always been Big Brother anyways. So I'm going to tell the story for us, you know what I'm saying? But he's as much a part of all this that I'm talking about. Like, you know, it's just, and we're real brothers. A lot of people don't know that, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people think, you know, like we're just a group. Like that's my little blood brother, you know what I'm saying? So we came up from the beginning, like DJ in a box to going to the Grammys together as brothers. Like that's some pretty cool shit, man. So we're kind of like at the end of the journey, you know what I'm saying? Like, who knows?
You said at the end, you don't have a desire to like keep going another 20?
No, I don't. I don't want the challenge of this new media. Like, I don't know how to fucking make a TikTok video, bro. I don't know how to tick the algorithm. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I know how to make great music, and I'm gonna keep putting it out. And if it hits, cool, but I don't want to get caught up in
competing for the whole
competing for that. Yeah. Matter of fact, like we just went independent on last year on all of our business ventures. So like all the Play-N-Skillz records we put out now, we own the master, we own the publishing, we put out independently, and we do it all. Because it got to a point where when we were on the major, I mean, I remember this product manager calling me and was like, you know, we got this dance, the viral challenge. We want you and your brother. I was like, do you know who the fuck we are? Like, I'm fucking 40 years old. Fuck, I look like doing a fucking dance, man. It's like, and if you think that this is what's going to make the song go hire all the influencers. Like, nobody wants to look at me. They want to look at the girl with the big ass dancing. Like, hire her and let her do the dance, and then hire the kids that are popular. And when I started figuring out, like, yo, bro, like, TikTok is dictating what a hit record is, bro, I'm going to live in the golden era, bro. I'm going to say live in my space of that. But, you know, we're always going to be musicians at heart. And I mean, bro, I still love to I DJ at places that could never afford me. And I don't even care because I just love to play. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So we're in that space. We'll work on stuff like we did the World Baseball Classic. We curated like all the music for the World Baseball Classic. Stuff that's behind the scenes that people don't know. We did the World Cup song with Nicki Minaj and Maluma that a lot of people don't know. But these are things that for us were like big moments as producers that, you know, the mainstream world probably won't know that that's happening. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where we're at. We're picking and choosing the things that we want to do. And yeah, man, that's it, man. We've been blessed to be here and tell the story and tell the other side of it that people will not tell because they're afraid that they're going to get blackballed. Nobody can blackball me at this point, bro. Good or bad. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're in control. And that's where you want to get to. You want to get to be in control of your career, where you could pick and save your soul. Because this shit will eat you up, bro. Trying to figure this shit out. You know what I'm saying? You have a great song, you're like, why is it not trending on TikTok? I don't know, bro. I mean, how do you figure that out? I don't want to get in the science of that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me just make great music, and if it hits, great.
Get back to what feels good.
That's right. Always, man.
For sure. Well, man, bro, I appreciate you coming
Thank
through,
you guys, man.
This is hella dope. So, man, I apprecied you, you know.
We'll be back.
Hosting with me, man.
Do part 2.
Hell yeah.
For sure.
Appreciate you.
For sure. Well, hey, man, it's Donnie Houston Podcast. Play-N-Skillz, man. Y'all follow him.
At Play-N-Skillz. With a Z. With a Z.
That is, man.
I'm on Instagram, SAM3AN.
Thank you, guys. It's great.
That's what's up, man. We out.